So here we are in the final 3 sessions of the Lost Mine of Phandelver. I am not going to cover them all in entirety, we haven't made enough progress to justify doing so. This is really just the final battle with Haeda Kost and her undead young green dragon, and the Black Spider and her giant spider mount. I will however go over some details, it's only fair. I kill 3 bugbears with Toll the Dead. We get the Forge's spells working, we meet a Beholder Light, a spectator by the name of Alan, or Spallan as he is now known, who guards the Forge and allows us to improve our weapons and armour by +1 to hit and damage and AC. Nice, but it has limited charges. So yes, some persuasion rolls are made, some very liberal uses of mould earth are made. We fight off with wights, zombies and ghouls, and could have come across some other things as well, some rather nasty beings throughout. And as well, towards the end, we've rescued the final remaining Rockseeker brother. So here we are, we're going to cover the final fight and show you the map with everything happening on it. And then we will begin proper. You'll have to forgive me as I'm not overly prepared. I have got about another two videos to do. So, Haeda Kost and her dragon and the Black Spider and her giant spider climb down the hole, knocking me out of the way. We're all invisible. We all have this. We all took the I think it was Dust of Disappearance. Eliza swigs a potion of poison resistance, and we all start to encircle, getting ready for the fight. We roll stealth. Eliza rolls 24, Ellie rolls 22, myself and Ian the Elk roll a natural 20, and Emil rolls 17. So far we are all unnoticed, as Haeda Kost says, "Something killed my pets. It didn't look like the undead that are down here. Keep an eye out." And so, as they're conversing, and they're about to head to the northernmost tunnels, I forgot to mention earlier, I kick a minecart at some skeletons. Nice. Or rather not kick, but I push it. Does damage. Great, love that. Want to do more of that, to be honest. I will, in fact, from now on, I'm only going to play adventures that have mines in them, and minecarts and rails. Just so I can ride them and kick them at skeletons. So, anyway, so we, as the Black Spider and Haeda are conversing, we decide that we're going to roll initiative. So Haeda Kost rolls 16, Eliza rolls Haeda Kost rolls 16, Eliza Elmwood rolls 14, Ian the Elk rolls 13, Eliana Ellie Toskobble rolls 8, the Giant Spider rolls 7.9, Garvel the Grimhammer, myself, rolls 7.8, the Young Green Zombie Dragon rolls 6, Emil Cragwalker rolls 4, and Nezza the Black Spider rolls 3. In the final fight, round 0, Nezza the Black Spider casts a spell upon herself with purplish twilight armour, transparent but present to all who look upon her. She looks directly at Emil, but sees through him as she swings her head around, looking around the room. Eliza quietly charges toward Haeda Kost and her undead green dragon. She fears the Necromancer and slips, striking the dragon with a 19 to hit with a Dragon Slayer Rapier, and hits. She deals the maximum 13 damage plus 3d6 bonus of 10. The dragon is missed with her second attack as it swipes around without making any pain sounds. Its tail misses her as she bounds back. She sends Rekko to scream without a sound at the Black Spider toward the west upon the stairs. Haeda looks at Eliza. "Well, what do we have here?" I was disappointed that didn't continue with the Dr. Entropy from Crash Bandicoot's speech. "Well, haven't we gotten far for a pair of fuzzy marsupials? I am Dr. Nefarious Tropy, master of time and the creator of the very time twister you see before you. Uka has sent me..." I forgot the rest of the speech now. Never mind.
"Have sent me to end this little charade, so you won't be leaving my area with the crystals. I swear it."
So Eliza rolls a 10 to see how Haeda recognises her, and it's a wicked grin squinting her eyes at her, and that's really all she can tell. Emil has Ian charge and rolls 11, hearing ancient dwarven battle horns in his mind. The spider jerks back in surprise, managing to evade the elk's charge. So Ellie now decides that she's going to move towards the broken feasting table towards the south, aiming a hand crossbow to shoot at the giant spider twice. Rocks explode from the pillar to the west, causing rocks to fall, but otherwise causing no damage. So with an explosive bolt. So unfortunately she just creates some, or rather, in a way, fortunately creates some dangerous, rugged terrain, but doesn't actually hit the giant spider. And Ellie's player does call the dice a fucking ass-licking whore. Rocks explode from the pillar to the west, causing rocks to fall, but otherwise causing no damage, as I said before. She then rolls an 18 for a standard bolt to clang against the rider's shield. So we know that that even the Black Spider with a spell has higher than 18 AC. She retreats to cover behind the tables and chairs. The giant spider snarls hungrily, and that's its turn. I move back and cast Hold Person. Wisdom saving throw of 14. Haeda rolls 23 and succeeds with a +4, but Nezza the Black Spider fails, with the Necromancer shaking herself free of it, but the Spider Rider's grip freezes. She can't move her hands on it. And so the dragon breathes noxious fumes, but cannot take its turn yet. Emil, still invisible, leaps off of Ian to charge at the Black Spider, having consumed a potion of diminishing returns. He asks, does a 31 hit? And I look at the stats on Roll20, it's a +14 to hit. He describes the crit fish, and he rolls instead a natural 20 with advantage, getting 34 damage in. He rolls 57 damage total after all his paladin bullshit, as I write. She's still up, but he uses his second attack. Emil then rolls a 31 and crit fail fishes with a nat 1. He smites again also. He rolls 45 damage and he screams, "For Gundren!" In the first proper round of combat now, Nezza uses her action to scream internally as she fails her whiz save versus my whole person. 2 skeletons quiver and quake as they arise, initiative 3.1. One behind Eliza and one next to me. Haeda Kost's legendary action is used as she casts a spell upon Ian and Emil, requiring a con save. Emil rolls 9, Ian rolls high enough. He takes 3 points of necrotic damage and Ian takes 1. She then rolls hit die, 6 HP, to heal Nezza. In the meantime, Eliza rolls to hit thanks to her Mage Slayer feat. She rolls a 12, failing to pierce the shadowy mage armor. Eliza's echo is furious, moving atop the dragon and swapping places with Eliza to strike at the dragon itself. She rolls a nat 1, even with a +8. The dragon, moving its body back and forth, is trying to shake her as it sways from side to side rapidly and tries to shake her off. She rolls 24 for a second attack, steadying herself to pierce the dragon's slowing flesh, to deal 27 damage as she unleashes her incarnate, making another attack, 27 to hit again, dealing another 21 damage to her. Ian hoof kicks Nezza off the Black Spider, or rather off the Great Spider, but fails to hit as it attempts the spider looking after its rider. I call upon the Guardians of the Grave, my spirit guardians, where enemies must call upon their wisdom or be hit. The giant spider fails with a 9 and is hit with 11 damage. The spider aims its arse at me, shoots webs, and misses with an 8 as an 18th strength succeeds against it. Which isn't quite how it worked, as the DM found out soon, but hey, fair enough, we didn't retcon it, so that's okay. Another spider then joins the fray, slinking in from the southwesternmost side. The dragon decides it's going to take a legendary action and starts to fly, but is slowed by the spell that I cast. It reduces 15. It reduces move speed by 15, so that's good. It's moving up and out, and Eliza wants to use a sentinel, but the legendary action does not trigger opportunity attacks. It moves off into the distance. Ellie moves and shoots the Black Spider, missing with 16 and hides. She rolls stealth, 25, to hide toward the tables. Haeda takes a legendary action. She uses a Withering Burst upon Eliza and says, "It's you again." Die! She rolls 26 to hit Eliza with the spell, to which Eliza can react afterwards. She takes 12 damage, the minimum amount, and Eliza responds with 18 to hit, but she consumes a spell slot. But Haeda consumes a spell slot to shield it as the energy just like forms around her and blocks the blade. The dragon, now on its turn, having used the legendary action, perches itself and attempts a breath attack, targeting myself and Emil. We roll con saves. I roll 20, Ian rolls at 18, and Emil rolls 11. Its rot breath causes 20 damage, but Emil only takes 10, and I only take 5 because of our resistances to poison. Hey! So, Emil is followed up with 22 points of necrotic damage, though. Oh! And I take 11. So, Emil, with the last of his vitality, will run and jump up to strike Nezza the Black Spider. Emil rolls 33 to hit her, swinging wildly to do 19 damage. And he's asked, "How do you want to kill her?" And Emil says through gritted teeth, "Their names were Guntrin, Thardan, and Undro." And he slams the warhammer into her chest, knocking her off the spider. And as she falls, her neck snaps on the ground with a sickening crunch. He then rolls with his additional attack to strike the giant spider for 23 and deals 7 points of damage. The skeletons then begin to strike, the one next to me succeeding but still takes 7 damage. It rolls a 22 to hit, causing me 12 maximum damage, and I still... Haeda uses Withering Burst. I don't know what... I don't know. It's just blank there. My notes are, yeah, I've got a lot. I've got a lot of notes here. Oh god, I've lost where I am. Gundren, stealth, flying dragon. Okay, yeah. So Haeda uses Withering Burst upon Eliza, rolling 9, reaching out to grasp her but missing again, flailing wildly with a 15 again. She's finding it difficult to use her attacks and maintain her balance upon a flying dragon. In round 2, Eliza claims that she's no longer afraid of her, which was quick, rolling 11 to stab at her. She's standing still and lets the armor take the blow. She rolls a nat 1 plus 8, missing again. Her fury preventing her from making a full train strike as her target slides aside. She uses an action surge to strike one more time, rolling a 20 plus 8, a nat 20 plus 8. And the DM says, "I can't stop that." So she asks me, so she says, so the DM asks me, "Could you cancel that crit per my Grave Cleric ability?" I said, "I'm not in range, I'm afraid. Can't do it. Sorry." So Eliza does 20 damage. Finally, she moves her echo to the newly arrived spider. So I move from the skeleton, using my action to disengage from combat with the spider, and I bonus action to heal Emil. The spider loses its wisdom save and I deal 14 damage to it. The spirit guardians, the slain here, dwarves, known orcs, including perhaps even the black spider, seek retribution against those who would serve with the necromancers. The spider at the bottom tries to web Emil, failing even with an 18 to hit. Ellie's initiative is bumped up as she's really dexterous, rolling to strike with a blinding crossbow bolt. Even hidden, her advantage doesn't help her, rolling 14 and 13 to blind the dragon. The giant spider tries to bite Emil for 11, hissing as it fails to get a decent grip with its mandibles. The dragon will then attempt to throw Eliza off Eliza's acrobatics versus the dragon's 17 strength, and she falls, taking 5 damage. She rolls acrobatics to try and land successfully, and with a third natural 1 of the game, falls prone. The dragon swoops down at her, swiping with advantage, 14 and 10. The 10 being a natural 1 plus 9. Misses, and I do 11 damage with my spirit guardians. Haeda uses Withering Burst upon me, dealing 16 points of necrotic damage. I maintain concentration on the spell with an 18 Constitution. Nice. Emil rolls 15 to hit the spider, succeeding to hit and deals 6 damage. He rolls 30 to hit again and deals 7 damage, killing it. He does some dwarf parkour to reach the lowest spider on the map, rolling 12 to dodge Emil's, which rolls 12 to dodge Emil's shield slam, and it gets knocked prone as it fails. The skeleton uses its movement to enter my Spirit Guardian sphere, taking 17 points of damage, and having failed its whiz save, it takes 2 swipes, 1 crits, but I cancel it with the Path of the Grave ability, using my reaction, and it deals only 4 damage to me. The dragon uses its legendary action to move 40 feet to move to cover. Haeda Kost, safely nestled in cover, makes 2 Withering Burst attacks at the prone Eliza at disadvantage. The first attack misses with 15, the second misses with 18. In the third round of combat, Eliza rolls 21 and 22 to hit, dealing 26 damage, maximum damage twice upon Haeda Kost. I summon a spiritual weapon to roll 25 to hit the skeleton pestering me, dealing 6 damage and slaying it. I also swig a potion for 7 HP. Ellie rolls 16 to hit the giant spider with a 16 to hit. I've just said that. Dealing 18 damage. She rolls 26 to hit and does 7 damage afterwards. 25 points of damage total as bolts launch into its thorax. The creature turtle on the ground, legs wriggling. The spider takes 11 damage from Spirit Guardians. It dies, the Guardians beating it to a pulp. Eliza rolls 19 strength for something I missed. The dragon bellows forth its rot breath. Eliza rolling 16 con to save versus the breath, taking only 5 points of damage plus 10 points of necrotic damage. Emil force feeds me a greater healing potion of 12. Lovely. And lovely? That might have been... I think I just said lovely, or he says lovely, and moves forth. Haeda uses Withering Burst upon Emil, rolling 25 to hit and deals 12 necrotic damage. She tries to hit me once more, but with 19, but that misses. I don't know how. My AC isn't that high, is it? I don't know. Maybe it was disadvantage. I don't know. I haven't got the notes. I'm trying to write these as best I can. Eliza moves her echo atop the dragon, swaps places, and wails upon Haeda. A 14 misses the Dragon Slayer rapier, failing to hit anything beneath the mage armor. An 18 also misses. What was her AC in the end? Dear me, I should... You know what? I think I actually had Dispel Magic. That would have been really good, wouldn't it? I wonder if I could have used it on the dragon, and it just collapsed into a pile of bones because of the necromantic magic keeping it together. Probably would have been too easy, I think. So, anyway, so I roll a Guiding Bolt with upon Haeda Kost with 17 hitting and dealing 15 damage, providing advantage to Ellie as she rolls 18 to hit Haeda Kost with advantage from my Guiding Bolt, taking 21 damage. She uses the last 5 feet to duck out of the potential breath attack. The dragon uses its breath attack on Emil and I, now caught in a rather tricky spot. I rolled 10 and Emil rolls 14. We both fail as we both take 8 damage. Emil goes down and I'm at 3 HP. I succeed on a Constitution save throw of 22. Emil rolls 1 nat 1 death save, taking 2 out of his 3 fails. And it's starting to get worrying now, because this is the second time that like Emil has gone down, and it's been really, really worrying. Like Emil's gone down times before, but like rolling death saves now, it was kind of worrying. We do, however, have Revivify ability, so that's good. Round 5, Haeda Kost uses a Withering Burst upon Eliza, missing with 13. She rolls with disadvantage to hit Emil. With it, as he's prone on the ground, she rolls 10 to miss. Eliza uses her reaction to Mage Slayer. She does 13 damage. Nice. So, I should explain, for those who don't know, Mage Slayer is a feat where basically when an enemy tries to cast a spell, you can use your reaction to take an attack of opportunity. You also provide disadvantage on the spell if you're in melee range. Awesome. So, yeah, Eliza rolls 18 to hit on her turn, with the shield spell blocking it, the final one in her arsenal, potentially saving her life. She heals herself for 11, the second wind. At the end of her turn, Haeda uses a legendary action, Withering Burst, on me. It misses. Eliza uses her reaction to deal 18 damage with a 20 to hit. I heal Emil for the maximum health of 11, because that's my Circle of Mortality ability, so I can heal people up to them with the maximum amount of healing that I can do with the spell if they are unconscious, or if there's 0 HP. So, I deal 3 damage to Haeda Kost with a Sacred Flame. Ellie uses her reaction to give a potion to Emil for 7 HP, and to use her bonus action to dash and pull Emil out of the fray, potentially saving his life from another possible breath attack. The dragon starts its turn, taking 7 damage from Spirit Guardians. It recharges its breath successfully. It rolls 19 to claw Eliza and misses, followed by a bite and missing me with 12. As it moves, I strike with Soul Reaver, but miss with 17. Emil stands and blesses the party, returning to Ellie. Ellie's position. In round 6 of combat. Not long now. Haeda Kost targets me with Withering Burst, dealing 7 damage, knocking me unconscious. Noticing now that she can do a lot more to hurt Eliza by targeting her friends rather than her herself. So she says, "That is just one of many." She performs a natural 20 Withering Burst upon Eliza, dealing 12 damage, and she appears to be healing for 9 total herself. Eliza brings her echo forth and wails upon Kost. 24 to hit, 13 damage, 9 to miss. Unleash Incarnate rolls 12. "You don't have me yet," says Kost. I fail a death save for the 4. Not even Bless would have helped. Ellie hands a healing potion to Emil and says, "Get Garfeld," and aims her light crossbow at Haeda Kost. She rolls 15 to just hit and is hit with a blinding bolt. 21 damage total. A bright flash emerges from the bolt. We struggle to see anything from the flash, and when our eyes finally come to, we don't see Haeda Kost until we see her lying limp on the ground. The dragon appears to be weakening, but is still alive. Well done, Ellie, for that. The dragon takes a legendary action to fly, barrel rolling, requiring a strength saving throw from Eliza. A 14 just succeeded. She tightens her grip and holds on for dear fucking life. It ends its turn, throwing its body against the wall to deal with a 21 to deal 11 damage in a rabid rage. It now bites with a 28 on Eliza, cracking the bones in its neck to reach Eliza on its back. It rolls 18 damage, knocking her unconscious as green gas spews from its mouth and eyes as nothing is holding back its toxic influence. Emil runs up to me and heals me with a lay on hands of 10 HP, dragging me back 1 square. In the 8th and final round of combat, Eliza rolls a death save around 16 and succeeds. This is her first death save for the entire game. I stand up and launch a guiding bolt of missing with 17. Ellie launches a crossbow shot, screaming at the top of lungs, "Chicken nuggets! Get 'em while they're hot!" to draw the dragon's attention, running. The bolt is a dud as it doesn't really harm the dragon. The dragon gives chase using its breath weapon as Ellie takes 10 damage from a con save of 20. She takes 13 points of necrotic damage, and Emil on his turn rolls to try and hop, skip and jump over the rocks and grab the dragon. He manages to grab the leg, but the flesh slows off. He strikes and smites, giving it his all, dealing 26 damage. You know what's coming now. He kills the dragon. As he fails to mount it, he flings the hammer and channels all of Moradin's might into it, and by some miracle that was needed so many other times in the game, but it finally happens now, it connects, and in his head he hears the voice, "You are a champion!" The voice of Moradin rings out, and as he finishes off the decrepit creature, he sees the light. The green gas ceases to exist and flow from its breath and eyes. It falls. And that is the end of combat. Eliza rolls a death save and a 1. She's close to failing now, she's almost dead. but I catch ya with a heal. And that's the end of combat. So what happens now? In this moment, it's dark. Eliza's echo looks like herself as a shadow which shifts and wavers into something else. It's happened once before. It once looked like the Black Spider, but the changes are slightly different. A sister, a sibling of hers. It reaches out a hand to Eliza. Eliza reaches out, and they grasp firmly. The shadow says, "It is not your time yet." She pulls back, quick, and at a point she breathes and is awake, alive, her head on the ground, throbbing. It's dark, it's grey, and there's a beam of light. She's alive. She's alive. Everything hurts. She pops her echo and says, "We did it. We killed her." Eliza drinks her healing potions. Emil gestures at the bodies and suggests I burn them to make sure that no unholy energy escapes. And Ellie and Eliza hug. On Haeda Kost, Ellie finds a crystal, a black orb of crystal, a black orb, with a hand imprint in it. Searching through, she finds in a pouch other sets of components, many small bones and ash. She looks to Eliza and says, "I know you like shiny objects, but this one can't leave this place." She takes a hammer from a toolkit and pulverizes it. And the Black Spider is a leather pack, carrying a rapier. The guard is an intricate spider-like design, and inside is a pouch of an onyx spider-like egg, the size of about a volleyball. It's covered in webbing, but isn't sticky, and it's like a case. Ellie opens it up and she can't quite believe her eyes. It's the potato, it's the pipe that she's been looking for so long. I always thought it was beautiful, but I have to wonder about Grandad Peter's tastes. She takes the pipe, lights it, and though she's not a tobacco smoker, she just sits relaxed and passes the time. "Don't tell them I smoked from it, but it is a good pipe," she says. In Kost's journal is an entry. "Fortunate for us, unfortunate for the dwarf. He may hold more knowledge than he lets on. Holding him in the room for now." We're taken harmlessly through each of the rooms. What appears to be a headquarters. Emil recognises the statue as it's similar to others with more flourish. It's Moradin, and so Emil does his thing while I walk out, still rather upset with Moradin's abandonment of Underdungen. He loots the platinum mugs. It takes 170 gold pieces, 5 platinum, and a silver upon silver in a number of chests. Deciding to leave the things that actually seem to belong to the temple. We find the final dwarf, who is conscious but sleeping. This one is Nungun Thundren. Now this is Nundro. He asks of the fate of his brothers, and while he doesn't like the answer, he'll take a drink back at Phandelver to hear the news properly. We go back to Phandelver after Ellie takes one last look about the place. We make it back safely. Things seem to be going down well here as we go to the Stonehill Inn. Without question, Toblin Stonehill gives us hot meals, cold drinks, tells us to clean ourselves up when we've settled in. He offers to keep us for a few days for free, hoping that we do, handing out keys. Emil winces in pain, but he says I need a lot of ale to down this pain. Wouldn't you agree? And proceeds to tell the tale. Our characters have their epilogues. Eliza Elmwood goes home, hugs her mother, and tells her people that the problem that had existed did indeed exist, but is now over. At least, this one is. That maybe she and her people should keep an eye out. And if there's a halfling who comes here, let them stay a while, they're friends. Otherwise, she goes back to her old habits and travels the forest, patrolling, perhaps talking with the Wild G.E.E.E. every now and again. If ever she stops by Phandelver, she'll see Marcy, but she's undecided about that. My epilogue is a bit more depressing. Garveld Grimhammer returns from his duties at the Church of Neverwinter, drawing what little pension a man of the cloth can scrape together, and makes his home in Phandelver. He joins the militia, not as a combatant, but as a chaplain, ministering with a pessimistic but comforting message. In the weeks before sanality and insanity take their fatal grip on the old man, he creates a statue upon Tresendar Hill, an inspiring message to those enlisting or exiting to go on patrol. On the plaque beneath the mighty figure reads, "This statue is dedicated to Thel'Dendra, the hero of Phandelver. Long may he watch over this town." Garveld, at long last exhausted of his life's purpose, dies in an unmarked grave of his own making. He bequeaths his belongings to the Dendras, and takes only his testament to Kelenvor. Sometimes, if you listen closely, and you're about to head out on a quest, you might hear in the wind, "Bloody fool adventurer." Ellie Toscobble, not long after the adventure, returns to her clan and returns the heirloom and the Black Spider's rapier to show that the threat is over. She drags the group to a festival at least once so that people could see the heroes who she joined. The scouts are told to look out for them, to guide them to the village if they so choose. She always brings back tales of adventure, which no one listening can be quite sure are true, but are more entertaining nonetheless. In the long term, she takes up adventuring every now and again, solely to keep her family safe with the aid of the Harpers. And finally, but not least, Emil Cragwalker. Emil Cragwalker spends the next few days trying to keep everyone's spirits up. He tries to get Garveld to make him act more dwarfly, but fails more often than not. During a spike of curiosity, he takes some of the pipe Ellie passes around, thinking he can see sounds. Eventually, this is not the first drug reference that I'm going to be making today either.
Why don't you get rid of it?
Eventually, the thrill of survival and adventure ebbs and flows. He speaks to Eliza and finds that the group goes separate ways. Getting each a memento, he creates some little geese at the blacksmith and gives them to the party members as a little token to remember their time as they saved the village of Phandelver and went on to liberate and secure Way of Echo Cave. Knowing all have gone their separate ways truly now, he goes to see the Lord's Alliance and petitions for some kind of new policy or force to put an end to the Bay Knights and Red Brands. If they'll take him, he'd like to join them. He learns that morality must be striven for, to be forged, rather than given to him. He has seen and has been influenced by Sildar's previous ways, and maybe if all goes well, he'll have the courage to go back to the Frostback Mountains, where he'll finally visit his sister and niece without any fear, and probably for the first time, he's able to sleep a bit more soundly. In the short term, we sleep better knowing that we prevented what we could have done, what could have happened. We meet a fellow who introduces himself as Eutorocles, which we give odd looks to. This is probably an ancestor, unlikely to be the Yeeto that we knew. But we know he will live a much better life, and he won't know how much better that his life is. Ellie tells him that if he does have children, make sure they like Beazles. Later, Ellie and Eliza make their own strain of pipe leaf, combining the leaves from their own homes. And that is the last session. We go to level 7. Hey! Except me. I died of old age, so level 6. Hey! And the campaign that I don't even know when began, I'd have to check session 1, ends on the 30th of July 2022. A day later, I had made a post on Facebook. 1 year ago, a day later, I made a post on Facebook about the tutorial arena. And it's it was nice to know. I can't find it now, but it was nice to know that what a way to end. That like we ended like a year after the tutorial arena, my first ever session of D&D. I would like to say, I'd like to speak for ages on how much of a pleasure this has been. I would like to just, but there are no words that can begin to express it. But I would like to thank all involved individually. I would like to first of all speak about those who we've lost. I would like to thank Rui, or Drax, first DM who ran this adventure, trying to write it as closely as written as I think he could. He did a brilliant job to say he was, I think, more of an experienced player. It was first time DMing. I think we had a few niggles with his DMing style, as I do with the 3 DMs that I've had so far. But it was greatly appreciated. I can't thank him enough for being there, fully dedicated to the game and the players, and given us a rather challenging introductory experience, but one that I think had hardened our resolve enough to take on the new challenges that our current DM has put in for us. I would also like to thank as well Shoria, and Shoria Simmons player, for being the one who got me into Group 89. Without them, I would not have been invited to this group. I wouldn't have had a friendship with these people, and wouldn't have had such a wonderful experience. Although there were disagreements after one session that they decided they had to leave the group for. I do wish them all the best, all the same, with the group. I understand they're playing a East Marches style game, so I wish them all the best with that. I do hope that I'll be able to play with them again, because they are a fantastic role player and have a good grasp of the rules. And yeah, it was a pleasure to play with them in the short time that I had, and I look forward to seeing them again soon. So those are the players that we lost. The character we lost as well, Professor Eutorocles, who was brought in temporarily because Emil Cragwater's player was not particularly enjoying Emil and missing all the time. It must be hard to play the game and not be able to contribute as much as you'd like to, because the dice are rolling the way they do, and physical dice seem to be doing the best job of things. So it was an honour to have Professor Eutorocles and just see how awesome wizards are. I'm rather glad in a way we didn't see his full potential, because if we did, well, I think he would have outshone us all. But hey, I suppose that's what he deserves. He deserves no less. To the players, I'd like to thank Eliza Elmwood for I think. How do I put this? I think for being the most mechanics driven of us all, and to our benefit. No encounter, I would say, has been easy, but she has made it considerably easier to survive. If it weren't for her, we would have died many times more considerably. We'd have had to make considerably more saving throws. I am grateful for their for them being something not munchkin. I think that's the too negative term, or a power gamer again. But yeah, like their style of play is one that I very much enjoy, to be honest. Like I'm way more into the combat than the role play, and yeah, like they've inspired me to actually like be a bit more, like, actually take the mechanics a bit more seriously, and maybe treat myself to more powerful things, rather than sacrificing them for the sake of what the roleplay I do. Like, most of my roleplay actually comes from my mechanics and my class and race and such, rather than like spell loadouts or weapons. So yeah, I'd like to thank them for that. They truly were a lifesaver. Like, we could talk about Emil being the MVP for slaying the dragon, as he so rightly deserved, or you know, Ellie's many good hits with the stealth and such. But yeah, also as well, taking initiative. Like, any piece of information that Eliza's player was given, she snaps up instantly and runs with it, and that's good. And always contributing to strategies as well. Where I don't even know like where to begin. I don't know about where to end. The spreadsheet, the organisation as well. It's all greatly appreciated. All that you've done in terms of meta stuff, that's been super helpful. So I'll end that there for that player, but you know, many more compliments, I'm sure. I'd like to thank as well Ali Toskobel and her player, for integrating with the group so well. I appreciate how hard it must be to join a game with brand new people that you've never really played with before. You've played with the DM, so that helps with things, and you know, you've done the adventure before, but even then, it's like, it's still the people you're interfacing with. That's the main, it's like the core of the game. Yeah, I really do appreciate them. I think even like picking up a new class as well, a martial class no less, and taking, like, becoming like a third caster with like the arcane trickster. Trying to dip into familiarity and balance those rogue duties as well was astonishing. Yeah, really glad to have them in the group. Would love to play with them again if ever the chance arises. Fantastic role player. Very good sense of humour. I think that's the best praise I can give. Yeah, the very funny at all times. A very good team spirit. Like, no banter, but just good chat in general. Very helpful with rulings and rules as well, understanding like that. Yeah, I've got a lot to learn with, I think, like, being a team player from Ellie, and yeah, just talking to people in general. So I have to thank them for that. Astonishing player. If ever you do have this person in your group, like, it will be worth it. It will absolutely be worth it. Finally, in terms of players, Emil Cragwalker. Endless patience, I think, with me in this game and the other one as well, and as well, yeah, like, just patience with the dice. Sometimes get insulted, but hey, you can't help it when you roll that badly, right? Not asking for the game to be changed in any way for them, going through things and enjoying a group activity, and trying as well to keep the group together at the best of times. Yeah, I think they had a lot of responsibility that they both knew and perhaps even didn't know about, that if they were gone, what would happen to the rest of the group. I think they definitely bound the group brilliantly, especially, perhaps, unfortunately, with their misfortune. You know, we did have a good giggle, but what was even more fun was, after all of that, the triumph of slaying the dragon. Yeah. Also, as well, just like having the confidence in D&D in this group to want to run a group for another game and become a DM. So that's good. But yeah, good spirit, good sportsmanship, and yeah, that's all I can say, really. Just a very good person to play with in and out of D&D. Finally, last but by no means least, Michaela, our DM, who ran also the tutorial arena, you know, the thing I was on about 5 minutes ago. Yes, very patient with us, very grateful for them taking the time out of their busy schedule of like 3 games to run a game for us and do all the organisation, and I had a lot of homebrew stuff that I don't know where it came from, to be honest. Not to take credit, but I'd like to think that my casual mention of Bane and linking that information went, maybe we could work that into the story. Yeah, they've done a lot of changes, and apparently these changes, every time they run Lost Man of Phandelver, they run it completely differently. So the whole point of these session recaps originally was to actually do a review of the Lost Man of Phandelver, which will probably have considerably greater production values than this. In fact, most of my other reviews on another channel. So yeah, I can't thank them enough for taking the time to really try and incorporate characters' stories. Dealing with a lot of feedback that I'd given, being very patient with me, because I'm a very negative person when it comes to feedback. I will rip something to shreds. Not entirely with the best intentions in mind as well. So I have to thank them for their patience and understanding me, my condition as well. Another player, several players I've spoken to in the group know that I'm autistic, and they've sort of like bared with me and my quirks. And yeah, really trying to help me get involved, and yeah, trying with me, because I'm a very difficult player. So I can't thank them enough for that. Generally good experience all around. Look forward to playing them with them again if ever I get the chance. Which is highly unlikely given my attitude, to be honest, but yeah, if ever I do get the chance to play with them, either as a player or if they're a DM, that would be brilliant. But yeah, just astonishing work all around. Well done for doing as much as you did and being a very inspiring dungeon master. Yeah, I think if I wanted to run a game, it would be modelled after their style. So I think that's it, really. Thank you everyone for joining the Wild Geese, whatever we were before, Group 89. Yeah, everyone involved, and also as well you, whoever you are watching this video. Thank you ever so much for watching. It has been... We've had trials and tribulations with this game, but we've overcome them, and I don't want to be negative when I say this. I'm glad the campaign is over. I'm glad that perhaps Saturdays are free to do other things, or we can play other games. We can retire these characters. We can play classes that we've been introduced to through various means. We've all looked at each other's characters. I think I want to remain a cleric main. I think I'm going to be a cleric main. Having said that, I also want to be an artificer main in my other campaign, so who knows. Yeah, I've seen what rogues can do, love it. Eliza showed me that fighters do not just have to swing and hit things, they can actually do some pretty interesting stuff, and even be great stealthers. You know, Emil, this character, has shown me a lot about the good stuff that paladins can do that I didn't realise and appreciate. As well as a lot of roleplay potential there. They are one of the best classes of roleplay potential, and of course wizards as well with the Professor Yatorogles. Yeah, some good stuff there. I really want to play wizard one day, but I doubt I can. I could really commit to it. Who knows? Maybe. But yeah, it has been fantastical all around. Whatever game we play next, it might well be Debt to a Friend, which I will not be doing session recaps for the next group. I'm only doing them for one group, but yeah, if we do play another campaign or another adventure, I look forward to it. There is the upcoming starter set, and who knows, we might actually play Dragon of Ice Spire Peak, but we will see. I'm going to end it there because otherwise I'll ramble forever. Like I say, there are not enough words to express how grateful I am, how pleased I am with this campaign, and it's the sum, it's the whole that makes you realise that complaining about the sum of the parts is virtually pointless when you get an experience like this. Yeah, so I've had a really good time. Thank you ever so much for watching. Thank you ever so much for being a player and a dungeon master for this game. And I look forward to whatever adventures Group 89, or, well, not the Wild Geese, but yeah, Group 89 have in the future. Thank you very much for the final time now. Ta-ta for now.